Well, okay, folks. How are you? Hope you're doing well. My name is David Parsons. Welcome to Nostalgia Trap. I am here with my good friend Justin Rogers Cooper. Good to see you, Justin.
Good to see you too.
We are continuing a series here on, I don't know what we might call this series, but sort of like investigating a certain brand of white masculinity in the rock music of the late 20th century, particularly the kind of doomed frontmen, rock gods. We've done episodes on Kurt Cobain and Shannon Hoon, and certainly mentioned a whole bunch of others. But since Val Kilmer died earlier this month, and I felt very sad about that, I really liked the guy and felt like his battle against cancer was really compelling and intense and sad. But either way, Kilmer's performance as Jim Morrison in The Doors, which is a film by Oliver Stone that came out in 1991, is iconic. And I think it's the thing that people mention the most when it comes to Kilmer's output as an actor. And it made me and you think, Justin, that maybe we should talk about Jim Morrison, the sort of prototype of that white macho rock god, and certainly the one of the initial members of the 27 Club, a guy that died at a very young age and whose death, I think, contributed to a certain kind of mythology. And so let's talk about Jim Morrison. What, where are you with Jim Morrison? I mean, where do we even begin with this guy? Because he haunted my childhood for sure.
Well, one thing I'd say at the outset too is I think another reason for doing this show was just to give ourselves and everyone else a break from just digesting one calamity after another in terms of the Trump administration. I do
Speaking of
think,
white masculinity and another kind of form of it.
yeah, and I do think, like Cobain, when we said this a few weeks ago, Morrison would not have been a MAGA guy, nor a fan of Trump, at least not in that kind of 1970, 1971, like kind of reflective, poetic space where he ended up. Now, having said that, one of the places I want to begin, or I would begin, is, there's a couple different ways to track, Morrison as a figure, and I don't know how much of this conversation can like really get at the authenticity of who he was. He's kind of a larger than life persona, and so part of what I'm analyzing here and kind of have always been dealing with my own fandom and also estrangement from the Doors over time.
Totally.
It's like you're kind of dealing with a myth, and he, unlike Cobain, is like completely before my time, and so I've come at that milieu and that period and this person from a generation after the fact. So it's not like Kurt and Shannon in that way for me.
Yeah.
There's something else. There's a distancing effect. And the reason I brought up Trump too, and what I was going to say there was those two sides, that estrangement and that attraction, that disgust and revulsion, which I have felt at times with him and to some extent the Doors as a brand, I guess, but also that immense attraction to the charisma and everything else. I think it plays into what you just mentioned about kind of this white masculinity and also this